Welcome to Hope Matters Radio.
We've really talked about individuals who are over the age of 18. When we look at minors, the dynamics are a little bit different as to how the, let's say, the payout or what's been awarded is handled for that minor. Is that correct?
That's correct. For minors in Pennsylvania, if someone's under the age of 18, I actually, as a personal injury attorney, have to seek court approval prior to the settlement being allowed. Once I have a number that I believe it fairly compensates the minor, then I still must file a legal document with the court explaining the injury, explaining the settlement, and asking the court's permission to allow the settlement to go through. And it's not until the court provides their approval that I could settle that case. In all cases, the court order dictates where the money's going to go and how long the minor has to wait until they get the money. I have a young man currently, and he's getting a little over $100,000. And I don't know if I mentioned previously, but personal injury settlements or bodily injury settlements in Pennsylvania are tax-free.
Okay.
So this young man is getting a little over $100,000, and so the court is telling us exactly where to put it until his age of 18, of majority.
Well, I think it's quite interesting on that note is that if you're under 18, the court is looking out for your best interest. If you're over 18, for lack of a better sense, they hand you a check and you're left to your own devices. Mm-hmm. I think that would be a good indicator for each one of us to know, hey, maybe I need some oversight. Who are the professionals to go to? So I'm very proud to hear that you do have a lineup of great people that are going to be there to take that client to the next level of financial awareness. In most cases, these people have never had that much cash at one time in their entire lives. So from that standpoint, it truly, the analogy of winning the lottery, it's probably the most appropriate thing that we could share to connect the two.
As the mother of a 20-year-old son, I'm thinking about him getting a windfall of $100,000 and turning 18. The only thing on his mind right now is a car. So maybe we should discuss auto insurance at this point.
I would be happy to, and I so often talk about auto insurance, and in Pennsylvania, it's mandatory. If you're driving a motor vehicle, you have to purchase auto insurance. But it's like a menu. It's like going to a restaurant, and there's appetizers available, entrees, some things there's prefixed.
There's dessert.
There's dessert. And that's a lot like auto insurance. I mean, there are certain coverages in Pennsylvania that one has to have if they operate a motor vehicle, and that is you have to have bodily injury coverage. And the limits haven't changed in a long time. So, for example, the minimum limit for property damage in Pennsylvania is $5,000. So you only have to carry $5,000 for the damage to another's property, car, vehicle. So if you happen to hit a guy who's driving a Mercedes,
sure,
right,
or worse off, if you have the bad misfortune of hitting someone with a Ferrari or a Bentley, that $5,000 isn't going to go very far. And
so what happens in that case? So let's take that as an example. I'm her son, 18 years old. I hit your Ferrari, and I have $5,000 worth of insurance, and I destroyed the front end of this car. Yes.
The first thing I'm going to do after I'm finished crying because my Ferrari is now ruined is I'm going to take a good look at you and who you are.
Okay.
If you're someone I believe does not have assets, and that I think that $5,000 is the only source of recovery from you, you might not be employed, you don't own any property individually in your own name, you don't have any bank accounts in your own name, so that I can't attach anything. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to turn the accident into my own insurance company, and my own insurance company is going to work with your insurance company to take that $5,000. And that's quite often what occurs in a situation like that if someone doesn't have assets. However, if I believe you are a millionaire and you're sitting on a home you own without a mortgage, and you have a bank account that's in your own name, and my Ferrari's damaged to the tune of $100,000, I'm not going to take that $5,000 in coverage. I'm going to institute a lawsuit against you personally and come after you for the $100,000 to fix my Ferrari. And if I don't do that, my insurance company will. If they fix it for me, if I use my collision coverage, and by the way, collision coverage is the coverage that you would buy to protect your car. So if I use that and I repair my insurance company repairs my Ferrari, they'll come after you individually for your personal assets. That's why it's important to have enough coverage.
And I think an important piece along the way is if your policy has limited tort or full tort, could you talk a little bit as to what each of those means?
I would love to, because when you hear the words limited and full tort, what does that mean to anyone, really? And I've been lobbying the legislature, my colleagues and I in the Pennsylvania Association for Justice, we've been lobbying to change those names, because what full tort really means is you have the full right to sue if you're involved in an accident for your pain and suffering. What limited tort actually means is you have a limited right to sue for your pain and suffering if you're involved in an accident. So I want to change those names on insurance policies, and when people come to purchase insurance, I want to see that changed as full right to sue or limited right to sue. Because I think it's much more explanatory for the consumer. And I'm so happy to be speaking about it now, and because it's such an important part of what we do, and it's near and dear to my heart.
Hope Matters Radio is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit HopeMattersRadio.com for more information. That's HopeMattersRadio.com.